Right. So people, today we are going to discuss the word meanings of the 100 verses part 1. So it's not just words, but some phrases are also there. So we are going to discuss that. So let's see the first one, people. The first word is stolid. Stolid. Don't read the meaning which is written and just look at the image which is given there. The image of a person. So what kind of expression do you think this person is bearing on his or her face?
Shy.
Are you
Ma'am, it's
sure?
a neutral reaction. It's
Yes,
neither happy nor sad nor angry.
right. It's neutral. So it's kind of blank, neutral. So basically, this is what this word stolid means. Stolid. Stolid. It means expressing little or no emotion. There are times when we choose not to show any emotion or any feeling on our face. We choose to look neutral or blank. So when you can say that that person bears a solid expression on their face. That person is looking stolidly at me or stolidly at something. So in this case, the 100 verses part 1, who was looking stolidly? Are you able to recall people who was looking stolidly?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was that person? Please tell us.
Wanda.
Okay, good, very good. What's your name?
Ma'am, Manish.
Very good, very observant, and you have quite a good memory, Manish. I appreciate. Right. So, see, there are so many times when we also make use of some such sentence where basically we are trying to say that someone is looking at me or looking at someone with a blank expression on their face, neutral. You won't be able to pinpoint exactly what that person is thinking because they bear a neutral expression. So generally, in this case, of course, in this story, Wanda is the person who is looking stolidly at the people who are trying to belittle her. But then in general day-to-day life, can you think of any particular people associated with a particular profession who are supposed to look stolid? Any profession? People associated with some profession? What about soldiers and what about models walking the ramp? Are they supposed to show any expression, or they are supposed to uh, not wear their heart on their sleeve and mostly try to look neutral? People, I'm looking for your response.
Yes, ma'am.
You
Yes.
must have seen models walking on ramp, at least on TV. You must have seen, and you know, we all have, uh, you know, seen soldiers around us. So, are they supposed to openly wear their expression on their face, or are they supposed to look neutral?
Ma'am, they are supposed to look neutral.
Right. And why so? In case of soldiers, why do you think they are supposed to look neutral?
Ma'am, it shows their sincerity and seriousness for their
True.
work and their dedication.
Absolutely. And it also shows that they are unfazed. When you look neutral, you are also not giving yourself away to other people. So it also kind of signifies that you have a very good control over yourself, over your feelings and emotions. So it shows some kind of strength. It shows that you have a lot of self-restraint on you. Very good. I appreciate Anupama. And what about models? Why are they supposed to look neutral? Models who are displaying basically different ensembles. Why are they supposed to look neutral? Any guesses?
Ma'am, they are representing a product or a dress or something like that. So the attention should be towards that product and not towards the model. So to make the product or the thing which they are representing more a principal thing, they do that.
Very good. I appreciate exactly for that reason because uh, they are, models or their bodies are only a tool. Basically, they are displaying that product or that cloth which they are wearing. So they should try not to seek, they should try to be so neutral that the attention is entirely on the product and not on they themselves. That's the thing. So the product has to stand out and not the model wearing that cloth or that product, right? And that is why it's important for them to look to bear a solid impression on their face or to look neutral. Very good. I appreciate. Now let's see this one. Uh, Not exactly scuffling. In the course of this story, we came across this phrase, scuffling of feet, scuffling, scuffle. So if you talk about the word scuffle, scuffle may mean so many things. Scuffle also mean when two people are engaged in some kind of physical fight or some such thing, tussle. But then when you're talking about scuffling of feet, basically what are you emphasizing?
Sound by rubbing of shoes on ground.
Absolutely. What's your name?
Ma'am, Manish.
Very good, Manish. Yes, exactly. The sound of feet, when feet, is being rubbed for any reason, so the sound which is made by that, that is scuffling of feet. That is the scuffling sound. So basically, we're talking about the sound here, right? And what about the rest of you people? Are you following us?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Okay, let's see the next one. So, in the course of the story, we came across this word as well, hopscotch. And then no meaning is written in text, but then some picture is given. So, is it making sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So, what is it? Hopscotch. The very basic answer is what I am looking for. Hopscotch is what? Is it a thing? Is it a place? Is it a person?
Ma'am, it's a game with
Ma'am, it is a game.
Ma'am, it is a
Right.
game.
Right. Absolutely. And hopscotch is also played by us Indian children. In our country also hopscotch is played, but with another name. We may not necessarily call that game hopscotch. We may know it by some other name, but I think I'm not so sure about you. Have
Ma'am,
you
it
ever
is the
played?
step rope.
Yes. So have you ever played Tapu or hopscotch?
Yes, ma'am. I have played step rope.
Yes, I have. When we were little kids, so smartphones and internet connectivity was not so prevalent in every other household. So we were mostly playing outdoors most of the time. So it was one of hopscotch was also one of our favorite games. And I'm quite glad to know that you also admitted that you people also, at least some of you have played Tapu or hopscotch sometime or the other, right?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And in this story, the 100 dresses, so who was engaged in playing hopscotch? Peggy, Wanda, Maddie, or some other children?
Ma'am, some other small
Little
children.
girls
And
were
some
playing.
other children of school.
Children in the garden.
Right, right.
Ma'am,
Absolutely.
other students in the playground.
Yes. And who was observing those children play hopscotch?
Ma'am, Wanda.
Yes.
Ma'am,
Right.
Wanda.
And why exactly? Was she really interested in watching hopscotch so much, or there was some other reason?
She was a loner. She had no friends in the school. That's why she was watching the young girls playing hopscotch in the schoolyard.
Wonderful. What's your name?
Ma'am Anushka.
Yes, Anushka, absolutely correct. Yes, she was a loner, maybe not out of choice, maybe out of circumstances, because others also made her feel like the outsider that she was. And whenever any person took any time or interest to talk to her, it was basically to ask her absurd questions, which made her feel inferior or left out in the cold. So maybe that was the reason. So yes, of course, she was a loner, and she had no friends as such. And then maybe that way she was trying to distract herself. Hopscotch. When other children are playing hopscotch, she used to watch them play that game. Right. Very good. Now this one. And again, No meaning is written as such in text, but then this picture is there. So can you tell us what basically nudge means?
Ma'am, a gentle push.
Yes, a gentle push. Generally, when we are giving a gentle push with our elbow to the other person, and why do we do this? Why do we even nudge some other person? In what case? What are we trying to convey?
Ma'am, when we want to say something to them.
Yes, yes, of course. When we are trying to convey something to them, and then
Ma'am, to give
there
the
are so many ways
attention.
to give. Please repeat.
And to bring his attention.
True, true. That is also the case to draw the attention of the person, and we are at the same time trying to convey something as well. Uh, but then there are so many ways we can convey things. We can even say verbally also we can convey whatever we want to convey in writing as well. But when we are giving a nudge to the other person, uh, what is this way of conveying our message? Is it verbal, written, or is it non-verbal communication?
Ma'am, it's a non-verbal communication.
Ma'am, it's
Yes,
non-verbal.
yes. Through a bodily movement, we are trying to seek the attention of the other person to something. And do you remember in the story, The 100 Dresses Part 1, who nudges whom and to draw their attention
Yes,
towards
ma'am.
whom? Okay, so tell us. Peggy, Maddie, Wanda, these three are the central most characters. So tell us. So you can eliminate one person. You choose the odd one out. Peggy,
Ma'am, Peggy nudged to Maddie.
yeah. To draw her attention towards whom?
Wanda.
And towards Wanda.
When? While they were engaged in?
Teasing her.
Right, absolutely. Very good. I appreciate. Very good, people. So you have retained everything which we have discussed in class. I'm quite happy about that. And let's see this one. Again, it's only an image and the word is written. And then you have to try to got the meaning out of it. So basically, I'm going to give you a clue here. Please focus on the expression on this person's face and then give it a try. The word is incredible.
Unbelievable or a shocking thing
I'm surprised.
we never expected of.
Yes, one student at a time. I appreciate and try to be loud and clear. Someone said surprised, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And fine. You're quite correct. Yes, exactly. Incredulous basically means that when you face it with something which you think too good to be true, which you think is nearly impossible, you're surprised, you are not able to believe in that thing or that situation, so you look incredulous. You're surprised. It's too hard for you to believe in that thing. So then, please look at this picture here and then tell me that why is this person looking incredulous? Any guess?
Ma'am, as you are UFO, that's why he is looking at amazement at the UFO.
Absolutely, very good. Yeah, this is the case. So you can see that some UFO is there in the background. So what are UFOs, people?
Ma'am, it's a belief that aliens or the people from other planet come to our planet through UFOs.
Right, right. I think the full form is unidentified flying objects, some such thing.
Yes,
You're
ma'am.
quite right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, right, right. So some people believe that it's true. The sightings of UFOs are true incidents, and some of us believe that no, it's only hearsay. People only say things because we simply cannot provide some solid evidence as to it. Right. So supposing that you come across one such UFO, uh, all of a sudden you're not looking for it unexpectedly. Won't you yourself look incredulous, people, in that case? What is
Yes,
your
ma'am.
reaction going to be, right? Yes, yes. Okay. Now let's see this one. A surge of applause. I think you are quite familiar with this one. And anyway, the image is also there. So what do you think it means? A surge of applause. So what basically means when you're applauding someone? Yeah.
Ma'am, appreciating by clapping for someone.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. If we are appreciative of something that someone has done, any performance or any such thing which we appreciate, which we are recognizing and appreciating. So, in order to show our appreciation and recognition for that person's act or performance, we give that person a round of applause. We clap for that person. Uh, right. A surge of applause. So when we say a surge of applause, is it only one person giving applause or
No, ma'am.
Many
Persons
persons were
clapping or many people.
yeah, most likely there are more than there are more than one people giving a round of applause to someone. And in this case, in this story, who is applauding whom?
Ma'am, all the children and the teacher were appreciating Wanda Petronsky.
Yeah, for her beautiful dress designs, sketches. I mean, right? Though she was not there that particular day, you remember?
Yes, ma'am. She
Yes,
was
ma'am.
absent from some days.
Fine. So let's move on to the next one, people. And it is basically this one, hand-me-down clothes. So you remember who was wearing whose hand-me-down clothes? Can you tell me the name of these two characters?
Ma'am, Maddie was wearing Peggy's hand-me-down clothes.
Right, absolutely. And what is hand-me-down clothes? Are they brand new or what?
No, ma'am, no, they are not
The
brand
dresses
new.
they
They
the
are
dresses
old.
that were handed by someone else.
Okay, right, right, absolutely. Dresses which are previously worn by someone and then later on they hand it down to you so that you can also wear it or whosoever. In this case, of course, as you very rightly said, Maddie used to wear the hand-me-down clothes of Peggy, right? And because of that, she felt obligated to
Peggy.
work. Yes, she felt obligated to Peggy, and it was one big reason why she could not gather the strength to. You remember?
Tell her not to tease
Not to
Wanda.
tease Wanda.
One at a time, please.
Ma'am, to advise Peggy not to tease Wanda.
Right. Yes, that was one big reason she did not have the courage to confront Peggy about all this teasing of Wanda and to tell her not to do it. She could not gather the courage because she felt obligated towards Peggy. Right. Very good. I appreciate people. And let's see this one. This one, I believe, just by looking at it, you know, and you can relate it to the story even. Mockingly is the word here.
Ma'am, falsely laughing.
Mockingly.
Ma'am, or
When
teasing someone. Teasing through laughing.
yes, so when people mock at someone, they are kind of laughing at someone to belittle that person, to make that person feel small, demoralized. You can see in this picture as well, some three kids are there in the background who are pointing a finger to this child and they are laughing at this child. And this child, look at the expression of this child. So in case of our story, the 100 Dresses Part 1, who was teasing whom? Who was mocking at whom?
Ma'am, Maddie and Peggy were
He and Peggy
mocking
were
Wanda.
teasing Wanda.
Right, right. Absolutely. And that's why she that's why I said that she didn't choose to be alone. Maybe she wanted to be friends with these people, but then they never considered or accepted them as one of their own. And that's why she thought it better to just stay away from these people. Because anyway, whenever they came face to face with Wanda and whenever they took any note of Wanda, they started mocking at her. So maybe that was one reason. Right, very good. People, let's move forward and let's talk about the exquisite dresses which Wanda has made in our drawings and sketches. So, though the meaning is already written here, but then when someone says exquisite sketches of dresses in vivid colors, do you get some idea?
Maybe extraordinary.
Yes. Again, it's about appreciating something. So, in the context of the story, what is so exquisite, which people are amazed at?
Ma'am, people
100 dresses made by Wanda.
One student at a time, please.
100 dresses made by Wanda.
Yeah, the sketches of the 100 dresses made by Wanda, they all were exquisite. So the teacher made a remark in this regard. Are you able to recall that remark? When she had already announced that Wanda is the winner of that drawing and sketching competition, then she explained it further. Why was Wanda chosen the winner? Why not anyone else? Is it just because she had submitted 100 dresses, or
No, ma'am, not because she had submitted 100 dresses, but because each of that 100 dresses were worthy of taking the gold medal or the first prize. That's
yeah,
why.
absolutely, absolutely correct. So the sketches of those 100 dresses, each one of them were quite exquisite in their own rights. So any one of those sketches could have uh, helped her win the first prize. That was the teacher's remark. Very good. I am quite happy to see that you people are able to recall things. Right. Now let's see this one. Pretend. I think you know this already. We have been using this word quite often. Pretend. So here is a synonym for pretend, which is feign. Feign. To pretend or to feign something. Right? So let me ask you, in the story The Hundred Dresses Part 1, who feigns or who pretends to whom? About what? Are you able to recall, people?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me then.
Ma'am, about that Wanda had a green dress, and the children and the other children were mocking at her. Uh, pretended in admiration that she would look like a Christmas tree by wearing that green dress.
Yes, that is there. That is there. So basically, you're trying to say that when these people were mocking at her and they were asking about her 100 dresses, so then the way they were reacting, or the way they were putting those questions across to her, they were pretending to be polite, but in fact, they were not. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, this is what I mean to say. Okay, good enough, people. So I'm going to stop recording now. And we are anyway on the verge of the completion of the